family, it's your girl Ebony Jean. Welcome back to my channel. We're going to shift gears just a little bit today. We're going to talk about my personal experience of going back to college bald. So if you want to hear my story, please stay tuned. So my very first year and semester back to school bald was last summer. And at that time, I had just been informed that I was very close to finishing my degree. So I decided to sign up for classes and get the rest of my credits out of the way. My very first day of school, I was going to math class and I was extremely nervous, y'all. One morning, I decided to get really dolled up and pretty, showed up to class with makeup and everything. People looked at me and said, "You're really pretty." Not that I didn't believe it, but sometimes when you hear those compliments coming from other people, especially those who you least expect, that means the world. And I'm still fighting through some of those insecurities. Like, not saying that I don't believe that I'm beautiful, like I'm very humble with that. It's just very refreshing to me hearing it from other people, if that makes sense. So after my math class, one of my instructors came up to me and she said, "You know, there is a girl at my church who has alopecia, and I would love for you guys to get connected to each other." But I didn't know who she was until she showed me a picture, and I was like, "Yeah, we're friends already on social media." And I shared my story with her. She was like, "Okay, awesome. Like, I would love for you guys to connect and hopefully get together sometime this summer." So she told me that story, and I thought that was really refreshing to hear. But she just hugged me and I shared my personal journey with her. I've learned that if you simply let go and be yourself, you will develop so many amazing, fruitful, rewarding relationships and friendships. So that's what I'm learning right now. My nerves didn't really pick back up until the fall semester, because that's when everyone from out of town started coming back on campus from summer break. I was like, I don't know how these kids are gonna respond. Like, although I'm older than them, mostly older than them, it's still a little nerve-wracking because you get the girls who are, you know, thinking they're all that, and they just treat you like competition, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of them look at you in intimidation, which is very unfortunate because a lot of them misjudged me. They saw how confident I was walking on campus bald. And that's why I have a lot of guy friends versus girlfriends, because they're like, "You're not trying to do all this extra stuff like some of these other girls do. You're just very chilled and laid back." And that's what I am. Like, I'm very chilled and laid back. I remember in my English class, it was a sports, film, and literature class, and we had to do reports on every film and documentary that we watched. By the way, your girl got an A. I love sports. That was a very easy class for me. But the majority of the class had athletes in it. So one day we were watching a documentary on a high school athlete who was playing for scholarships to get to college. One night he had a huge game, and unfortunately it had gotten cut short because he had suffered a severe leg injury during the game. An NFL player ended up reaching out to him. I don't recall the name of the player to this day, but he had reached out to this person and they had suffered the same injury. So he was just getting in contact and encouraging him, giving him words of affirmation. So after the documentary, we had a discussion. I was very low-key with my alopecia. I didn't share that with anyone unless it came up at an appropriate time. And the appropriate time for me was during that conversation. So I had mentioned my very good friend, Charlie Villanueva, who is a retired NBA player. If you guys are not familiar with him, if you don't know who he is, please go follow him on social media. He is phenomenal. Such an awesome person and advocate for the alopecia community, along with Ryan Shazier of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mentioned both of their stories, explaining how regardless of them having alopecia, they did not allow that disability or their difference to stop them from pursuing their goals and dreams and from playing their favorite sport. I also shared my story of having alopecia. Everyone in my class was moved, and it was to the point where my teacher was almost in tears. So she said, "Thank you for sharing that. Like, I honestly don't know how to bounce back after what you just shared," because it was that compelling. So I'm just grateful and honored and humbled for the reactions that people had given me. Like, some of them had questions after the fact, and I am more than happy to share my story with them. So I've said all of that to say this: do not let alopecia stop you from finishing your education. You want to cover bases as far as having alopecia. You want to share your story with your instructors. I would strongly encourage you all to do that. You don't have to, but just to make things a little bit easier for you and for them. So just let them know ahead of time or whenever the topic is appropriate, so that way they'll know how to handle you. You have to know that not everyone is negative, not everyone is looking to insult you or talk about you. Of course, we still have jerks out there, but oftentimes people look at you because they're intrigued. They want to give you a compliment, but they're scared to say something. They don't want to come off the wrong way or offend you. Don't walk around with a chip on your shoulder. Just relax, be yourself, let them come to you. Let them know of your story, so that way when they do get to know you a lot better, they'll develop more respect for you, and you guys will probably have an awesome friendship from there. Hopefully I covered everything in this video. If I didn't, please give me a comment down below, and also share some of your experiences with me if you've gone back to school bald. I would love to hear from you, whether you're making the transition from high school to college, or you're in college but you haven't revealed yourself yet, or if you have taken a break from school and you have alopecia but you're nervous about returning like the way I did. So if you have any questions, please comment down below. Give me a thumbs up for this video, subscribe to my channel, and please hit that notification bell. I will be posting videos weekly. All right, I gotta get going. Thanks again so much for watching. God bless, and I'll talk to you all soon. Mwah. Bye.